What are you guys so excited about? All right, good morning. It is morning here. KW cages. We just bought one of those nurture modular rabbit hutches. Even though we raise rabbits in colonies usually and on pasture, but in this video I want to tell you a little bit about this cage, what we like, what we dislike, why we got it in the first place, and whether or not it's gonna convince us to raise rabbits in cages going forward. What do you think? Before we get into all of that, maybe let us know in the comments. Why do you raise rabbits? What for? Meat, fur, their cute little paws? And how do you raise them? In colonies, in hutches, in cages? I'd be super interested. Oh, you can see the rabbit peeing right here. And that's actually one of the few, one of the disadvantages that we're gonna get into, where the urine is gonna end up. But let's start with the basics. This cage is huge, comparatively speaking. I think it's like 48 inches or so wide and plenty of space on the inside compared to regular rabbit cages. We have here this second level that I really like because it effectively increases the square footage by another 30% or so, I would say. And the little ones really like it. They hop up once they are older. The other thing that I really like about this cage is that over here, you can remove this guy and attach a nesting box. And that already leads us to the reason why we got this cage. We got it because this doe got pregnant in one of our mobile rabbit tractors, and we found out on the day that she was supposed to be dispatched. And so we had to scramble a little bit, and we got this cage. We actually had it before because we kind of anticipated that we need an extra space for sick, injured, pregnant rabbits. And so we got this cage, we attached the nesting box, and immediately she started nesting, pulling fur, and building a nest in there. And a few days later we had babies in the nesting box, which was really cute. Those are those guys actually. And I think everyone but two made it. And the other thing that's super convenient with this cage is that all the droppings go in those metal trays down here, so you can easily remove them. Actually, we can do this right now and bring it over to the compost. Okay, let's bring it over. So what we do with the lid here is we actually add bedding to it, so it soaks up the urine you saw here pee before, and that means a little bit less smell, a little bit more leeway as far as how often we clean it out. And of course, all of this is perfect compost, or will turn. And so now we just rinse it out real quick and we're good to go. Takes a few minutes and the cage is clean. You know, those by default, those pans are plastic. We upgraded to the metal sheet ones just because we are not huge fans of plastic, generally speaking. The downside of the sheet metal is that it can bend, obviously. Some of them actually came bent when the cage arrived. Then we might have bent them a little bit also, but overall, it's all good. The second thing that's really cool about this cage is, you know, the feeder is attached very conveniently here on the outside. So you can easily, you know, feed it up. Make sure they always have pellets. They are typically the does, nursing and pregnant does. They are on an all-you-can-eat kind of buffet here, so they always get as much as they want. Watering-wise, we have a bucket up here, you know, 5-gallon bucket with water, and we have now 2 nipples. The reason why we have 2 is so the little ones and the older ones can conveniently access the nipple without having to like bend down too much or get up. So we've just put in a splitter here. That's been working fairly well. Maybe speaking about, you know, the urination and poop, the convenient part is you can just take out the pan and then put it on the compost, put it on your plants, you know, immediately. But we've noticed, depending on how the doe pees, or the little ones, they actually spray outside of the pan, because the pan is not quite long enough. As you can see, there is a gap back here, even if it's almost flush on the front here. So that's why we had to put in that the wooden board here and a bucket to prevent a lot of the urine from either being sprayed on the glass window here or on the floor. Now, of course, if you have this cage in a barn or whatever, it wouldn't matter. It would just get absorbed by the soil. But in our case, we have it here super close to the house. We want to avoid that. And so that's one of the downsides that I didn't really consider in the beginning. with those pans. I thought they would just pee straight down, but no, they go in a corner. Who knew? If you buy this cage, I think it retails for like 350 or so bucks, I want to say. We did a couple of upgrades with it. We, for example, got the higher gauge or thicker mesh wire on the bottom. I think that makes it a little bit easier for the little ones, so they don't, fall through and, hurt their feet potentially or get sore hocks. We also got the standalone unit, because this is modular. You can attach several units back to back, but if you only do one, then you need the frame to hold everything. So that was an upgrade. The metal sheets instead of plastic, that was an upgrade. So overall, with all of the upgrades that we did, we paid $450, which is also very reasonable for the cage. And building it took maybe an hour, maybe 1.5, because in the beginning I didn't have those clip pliers that you need that holds everything together. They're like little loops and clips that hold the entire structure together. So you definitely want to have the right tools to make it easier, the assembly easier. But it was not complicated at all. Really like this. Again, we have the nesting box that we can remove if we don't need it. We can attach it when we need it. We have the hay feeder in there. We have the pellet feeder. Everything is super solid and contained, and definitely an excellent cage. A bigger cage than other cages. So if you're into raising animals in that setup or raising rabbits in that setup, I would highly recommend this one. However, seeing him in there and comparing how the rabbits are in our hutches, where they can burrow, where they can dig, where they can run around, they have more space, they're on soft ground. I don't think we'll ever raise rabbits in cages. It's already difficult enough to raise them in an environment that's as natural as possible with the mobile rabbit tractors and the hutches, etc. Going to a cage, as convenient as it may sound, as transparent as it is, we're seeing, when the litter was born exactly how many are in there, how many survived. We actually noticed that one rabbit that died when he was still a few days old, she ate, and we saw the doe eating the rabbit. We would have never realized where that dead rabbit would have gone if it was, in an underground burrow or whatever. So we notice all of it. We can see all of that. We see what's going on, but nonetheless, I don't think we'll ever do rabbits in cages as nice as this cage is. One thing that we did, an upgrade maybe, if you will, we added those USB powered fans because it can get hot. They are not exposed to direct sunlight for a lot of the day, just for a few hours in the morning, but nonetheless, we've seen they really enjoy being underneath the fan to get that extra airflow. But beyond that, fairly simple, takes a few minutes to maintain. They seem to be somewhat happy. I'm sure they would be happier in a large hutch where they can burrow and escape the heat. But nonetheless, KW Cages, I think it's a great tool if you're into cages, or if you need something like us, an emergency, to isolate the rabbit, maybe to have a pregnant one that was not supposed to get pregnant. For those cases, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep using it. But let us know, what do you think? Do you like this cage? Would you consider raising rabbits in a cage like this? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time.